Most bank robbery stories feature a mastermind thief, because robbing a bank is no ordinary feat. It requires meticulous planning and flawless execution. But what if the thief was incredibly stupid and still managed to pull it off? Not once, not twice, but 3 times? Sounds impossible, right? Yet today's story is about a man whose sheer luck helped him steal over 51 million yuan from one of China's largest banks, only to lose it all in the dumbest way imaginable. Welcome to Dark Secrets, where we uncover the strangest and most mysterious stories from around the world. And today, we dive into the unbelievable case of a bank manager turned thief, whose greed ultimately led to his downfall. It was October 2006 in China. As the city grew darker, Ren Xiaofeng, the vault manager at the Agricultural Bank of China, remained inside the bank long after everyone had left. Despite 2 security guards being stationed outside, Ren felt nervous. He couldn't shake the feeling that something was about to go terribly wrong. To calm himself, he checked every room, the printing office, the meeting hall. Everything seemed normal. Then he entered the vault. The money was all there. The bank's security system and cameras were disabled, just as planned. His heart pounded with excitement as he began counting the cash. He was about to become rich. Once he was done, he stuffed the money into a bag and walked out. Just as he reached his car, bam! A blinding light flashed in his face. The security guards had spotted him. They walked up and asked, "Did you get the money?" "Yeah," he replied confidently. Yes, the security guards were in on the plan. He had convinced them to join the scheme, making the robbery even easier. Ren tossed the bag into his car, then casually walked back inside the bank. He still had an hour left in his shift, and he needed to turn the security system and cameras back on to make sure no one suspected a thing. His plan wasn't just to steal the money and run. Oh no, he had a much crazier idea in mind. A genius move, or just dumb luck. The next morning, Ren sat at home with 200,000 yuan, about $26,000. But instead of celebrating, he headed out and did something completely unexpected. He bought lottery tickets. Yes, his brilliant plan was to steal money from the bank, use it to buy lottery tickets, win the jackpot, then return the stolen amount before anyone noticed, and keep the rest for himself. Now, any logical person knows this is a terrible idea. The odds of winning the lottery are near 0. If it were this easy, everyone would have done it already. But against all logic, Ren actually won. He returned the 200,000 yuan to the bank, kept the extra winnings for himself, and walked away completely unnoticed. You'd think he'd stop there, right? Of course not. The second heist. Having successfully pulled off his first heist, Ren decided to go bigger. But he needed a partner. He tried to convince a colleague to join, but the guy refused, calling the plan idiotic. So Ren went ahead on his own and stole 33 million yuan, around $4 million. Just like before, he used the stolen money to buy a ridiculous amount of lottery tickets. But this time, his luck ran out. He lost everything. Now he was in serious trouble. He had taken a massive amount of money, and there was no way to return it. Suspicion at the bank was growing. Instead of running or trying to cover his tracks, Ren did the unthinkable. He stole even more. He and his security guard accomplices stole another 18 million yuan, about $2.3 million. But this time, things were different. Since they were now desperate, they bought the lottery tickets all in one day, making it harder to hide their purchases. They scratched ticket after ticket until their fingers bled. But no matter how many they checked, they kept losing. In the end, after spending a total of 51 million yuan, they won back just 98,000 yuan, less than $14,000. At that moment, they knew they were screwed. The bank soon discovered the missing funds, and police launched an investigation. They quickly identified Ren as the prime suspect. Realizing the danger, Ren fled the city. His accomplices weren't so lucky. They were caught almost immediately. The final chase, Ren kept moving, trying to stay ahead of the police. He made one of the dumbest decisions yet. He traveled 650 kilometers, 400 miles, by taxi, making himself an obvious target. Fearing capture, he bought a stolen car from a shady dealer and rented a luxury apartment under a fake name. For a brief moment, he thought he had found safety, but his luck had finally run out. His unkempt appearance, nervous behavior, and obsession with watching the news made the locals suspicious. Within days, 3 different people reported him: the car dealer, his landlord, and a random passerby. Police raided his apartment and arrested him on the spot. Fittingly, the reward for his capture was 200,000 yuan, the exact same amount he stole in his first heist. The trial and execution Ren's accomplices were sentenced to 5 years for negligence in protecting public funds. But Ren himself, the prosecution demanded the harshest punishment possible. Desperate to save himself, Ren tried to strike a deal. "I can help improve bank security to prevent future robberies." The court simply responded, "No thanks." Ren Xiaofeng was sentenced to death, and the sentence was carried out the following year. The aftermath. The bank, now humiliated on a national scale, fired 5 employees for negligence. Investigators discovered that no one had audited the bank's cash reserves in 2 years, and no one had even bothered to check security footage. And so ended the tale of the dumbest bank robber in history, a man who managed to steal 51 million yuan right under everyone's noses, only to waste it all on lottery tickets. He could have gotten away with it, but his greed blinded him, and in the end, it cost him everything.